Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. We're going to start. I want to thank all of you for coming out. I know many of you are leaving your sites and your departments. It's getting over here at 3:30. Could have been a challenge, but thank you for coming. This is one of 2 employee meetings we're going to be having this week. And the other one is tomorrow at 4:30. But as we did last year, I thought it was important to provide this opportunity for you to come and hear about the state budget and to help us think about the budget for next year. We did receive, it was interesting, last year, many people who came to the employee sessions really provided some interesting and some important input for us to take back. So once again, we've asked you to come out, and I want to thank you for those of you who are taking advantage of this. Before I begin, I'd like to welcome and say hello to one of our board members, Diane Gibson-Gray. So, Diane, thank you for being here. All right, today's program will be done in 2 parts. First, there will be a presentation from our Chief Business Official, Denise Porterfield, and she's going to share with you information regarding the governor's proposed budget. This message this year is a little complicated because we also have some information from the state regarding the current year because of the crisis that we seem to be in statewide. So we're going to hear a presentation from Denise, and then Larry Morey will be coming up. Larry is the Director of Human Resources, and he will be coming up and will be leading you into an activity that will hopefully generate for us several things. One, recommendations or suggestions for revenue generating ideas, and the second, to think about possible reductions. Last year we had over hundreds of index cards that you have. We received many of them from our different groups. And there was a committee responsible for going through each one of them and looking at the feasibility of that reduction or the revenue idea. The committee also made some recommendations in terms of its impact, if it would have a financial impact on reducing the budget. So it really was helpful, and we were actually able to build in some of those recommendations into the plan that the board approved in May. So your ideas, your thoughts around this is really important. No one has a monopoly on good ideas, and so we appreciate the ideas that have been coming. School districts across the state, our neighboring districts, we are all sharing ideas of what's coming out of what's coming from our community meetings and our staff meetings, because we're all looking at the same kinds of reductions. We're looking at the challenge of the same kinds of reductions. They're looking to the employees and community for ideas. So you're going to have an opportunity to go through that with Larry Morey, and then when you leave today, if other things come to mind, you still have an opportunity to send those things in. So again, I want to thank you for coming out today and being part of this. We are Antioch Unified School District community, and we together can address what we see every day becoming a bleaker and bleaker picture. Porterfield will talk more about that, but every day that the state does not come to an agreement on someone's proposal, the picture gets worse. And as you know, it's in the backdrop of a national crisis where every day you turn on the news, you look at something, and it's getting worse and worse. So these are not easy times. What we have done and what we continue to say is that we have to look at everything across the board. There can't be any sacred cows in this process because the reductions or the necessary reductions that our district will have to take, like other districts, we haven't seen anything like this. And last year, when I stood before many of you in this very room, I was saying to you that we hadn't seen anything like this. Well, now I'm back saying, well, this really is it. This really is it. We thought it was coming, we saw it coming, but we had no idea that it would be coupled in this national scene. Before we end, I'll come back and talk a little more about the federal stimulus package that's being discussed in Washington and what impact that might have on us as a district. So I'm going to turn this over to Denise, and she will lead you through this. And I know that some of you have heard the PowerPoint once, some of you have heard it twice, some of you have heard it 4 times. So for those of you who have heard it more than once, there will be a test at the end of the day.
So good afternoon. As I was introduced, I am Denise Parkhill. I'm the Chief Business Official here for our district. And yes, I'm not here to give pleasant news today. And again, for those of you who've heard it before, you can remind me if I miss any points since I have said it a number of times. So, as you know, you turn on the TV, everybody's being impacted by what's going on in the state of California nationally. And what's actually going on is that we're in the deficit in California, and they're projecting it to be $40 billion. Now, that is probably going to end up with some pluses after here very soon. I don't know if any of you heard this morning that if they don't do something on Friday, it'll be the first furlough day for the state workers. And so it is still getting worse and worse as this goes on. It takes 2/3 of the legislature and the governor to agree on a budget, and that's been causing the problems. It's because the legislature comes with a plan, and the governor vetoed it. And the governor came with a plan, and the legislature wouldn't vote on it. And so they're not coming to agreement, and each day that goes by, it does get worse and worse. What they're continuing to do until this Friday when they do their first furlough is they're still spending at a rate greater than the revenue that's coming in. So the state has a cash problem. They don't have enough cash to back up the revenues they're anticipating. And so they cannot make payments. What that's going to do for us is that they're going to start deferring payments. But we are on the list as one of the first payments. So as far as paychecks go and that sort of thing for us, those will happen until the end of the year. We have enough cash to get through that point in time. What happens when you run out of cash, particularly in the state of California, is that you are not a good credit risk. And as not being a good credit risk, since we're down at like 48 in the credit rating in the whole nation, there's nobody who wants to give the state any money. That could impact us in the future with their credit rating if we have to go out for cash like a trans, meaning we're going to borrow against money that we're anticipating we're going to get in the future. Our credit rating could be impacted, and that could hurt us. Right now, we have an A+ credit rating with Standards & Poor's when we just went out for our bonds because we've done a really great job in how we managed our finances. Where the state, they have one of the lowest, and that's going to be